Hello Daily Drafters and welcome back to the channel for today's daily draft. Today we are drafting, you guessed it, Wilds of Eldraine. We started this format off hot with about a 70% trophy rate through the first 8 drafts or so. And boy have we cooled down, because over the last 8 drafts or so we've had about a 70% losing rate. So we're going to see if we can turn that around today with a very aggressive first pack. Battle Mouse, Veteran, Ash, Trainee, Flick a Coin, Monstrosity, all these cards are quite aggressive here. I think I'll take the Battle Mouse. I don't really like starting with this necessarily. These aren't decks that I particularly like drafting a ton, but I mean, chances are we get back one of these aggressive cards. There's so much red-white going on in that pack. It's kind of wild to me. So we'll just start with Battle Mouse. We don't have to be red-white necessarily, though. So what do we follow it up with here? I think the best card in this pack by a lot is High Fae Negotiator. There is also Red Tooth Vanguard. This doesn't have to go in an aggro deck. This can be a finisher in an aggro deck as well. Could very easily take Red Tooth Vanguard out of this pack as an aggressive 2-drop. I think that's pretty much the only 2 cards I would really consider here, but it's a pretty easy High Fae Negotiator for me, so that's where I'm going to go ahead and start. Don't feel like following that up with a Flick a Coin. There is Cursed Courtier like there was last pack, but I feel like I need to be in this deck before I draft this card to get into this deck. Virtue of Knowledge is basically unplayable. There is a Stab Wound, which is a fine-ish removal spell. I mean, it's good. I would play one in every black deck. There's also Conceited Witch and Voracious Vermin, and to a lesser extent, Rat Out. There's a Root Rider Fawn, what I would have killed for some of these in our last draft that we had. Didn't have it. But I think I'll take Stab Wound here to go with High Fae Negotiator, and then we have had a Root Rider Fawn in every single pack so far. Green-black is not a deck I'm super high on, but that's not to say we couldn't try to get into it here. There's also Two-Headed Hunter, which is pretty good in any sort of even aggressive-ish deck. There's a Cheeky House Mouse for kind of a red-white deck. We're passing a lot of green here, but I think I'm going to go ahead and just stick with the Battle Mouse pick and take the Two-Headed Hunter. If our red-black deck is going to be at all aggressive, Monstrosity is a totally fine card to play. It's 2-mana 3/1 that will just trade off and give you bargain fodder to cast things like Two-Headed or High Fae Negotiator. There's also Flick a Coin, Witch's Mark. Interestingly, not much more black, but black and red are still open enough. There is a Spell Stutter, but no reason to get into blue for that. Let's just take the 2-mana aggressive creature here. And we've got some good top end, a removal spell, and some decent bottom end as well. So what can we fill that out with? I don't know if I want 2 Two-Headed Hunters in this deck. One is probably okay. I think I might just take the Harried Spearguard here. Black-red usually has some rats synergies. I don't think we wheel the Ratcatcher Trainee, but we're probably wheeling something out of that first pack. Hopefully it's one of the decent red cards and not one of the decent white cards. I think I'll take the Spearguard over a second Hunter. I do worry about my curve a little bit in these decks. This also helps Celebration cards if we do pick up any of those. So we'll go ahead and start with Spearguard here, pick 6, and then we are 3-3, relatively committed to black-red, but I could be convinced to move off if certain cards wheel. See, now we've got Armory Mice, Moment of Valor, Dragon Mantle, Shatter the Oath. All of these cards are fine. I think I'll take Dragon Mantle. I think I'm hedging between black-red and red-white right now, because if Ash Party Crasher wheels, that's going to tell me that red-white's going to be pretty darn open for us. Ginger Brute is probably a card that goes in either of these decks. Ginger Brute is outstanding with Dragon Mantle. Wouldn't mind picking up a Witch's Mark as well, but let's see what wheels here out of this insanely red-white opening pack. Insanely aggressive red-white pack. And if we get Ash back, I probably take it. Okay, so we didn't get Ash, but we did get the Bruiser, the Grim Search, and the Minstrosity. I think I'll take the Minstrosity. 2 mana, 3/1's a fine stat line in this format, mainly because most of the 1/1s are rats, and they can't block. I would play a Rowan's Grim Search in basically every red or every black deck, but let's take a second Minstrosity. Did wheel the Witch's Mark. Love to see that. Usually love having a copy of Witch's Mark in basically every red deck that I play. Anything else wheeling here? Voracious Vermin and Rat Out. Our curve could fit a Voracious Vermin right now. This card does get bigger and bigger and creates 2 bodies, celebrates by itself. I think I'll take my first copy of Vermin. I'll go ahead and cut the Visitor as a black card here. And we're looking to be black-red aggro. Fine place to be in this format. Crescendo or Flick a Coin? I think I'll take my first copy of Crescendo. The wider we can go, the better this gets. So what are we looking for now? We're looking for Twisted... now I wish I would have taken the other one. I'm not playing 2 of these. We're looking for Bitter Blossom is what we're looking for. Because this card is, in my opinion, the best card for limited in the Enchanting Tales slot. And we're going to take it here because it is a fine card to put into an aggro deck. What do we wheel? Don't wheel Hopeless Nightmare. That would be great, though. Vermin might wheel. Minecart Daredevil would be fine, and Grabby Giant, less fine. I'm hoping to get Daredevil out of this pack. Well, the best card to get back would be Nightmare, then Vermin, then Daredevil. So we'll see what we can get there. We're taking Bitter Blossom for sure. What a garbage pack here. I don't think we're playing any card in this pack. 7 blue cards. Our neighbor took the rare. Guess we take Not Dead after all, and I don't really want to play it necessarily. So, oof. As good as Fawnsbane Troll is, I don't think it's worth stretching the mana to play this here when there's a card as good as Totentons for our deck. So I'm just going to slam the Totentons. Goes right in our 3-drop slot just fine. And have to pass the Fawnsbane Troll, but we'll live. We've got Totentons. Can't be too upset. Now there is a Grim Search. There's a Stingblade Assassin, a second mark, and a combat trick. I think I'll take my first Rowan's Grim Search. This is a good way to refill your hand in these kind of decks that dump their hand early. Spiteful Hexmage with currently no bargain except the High-Fae Negotiator. I don't think that's worth it, although with the amount of rats that we have, this could actually be pretty good. Could turn our Spear Guard into a 1/1, doesn't matter. Turn a Gingerbrute into a 1/1, doesn't matter. Turn any rat we have into a 1/1, doesn't matter. I do like Hopeless Nightmare, but let's take Hexmage here. Because I think Black-Red is actually the best home for Hexmage. Don't currently have any celebration cards except for the Raging Battle Mouse. Would love to get some Grand Ball Guests in here. Belligerent of the Balls. You know, plenty of aggressive creatures that we could open. I don't think Impact Tremors is worth a card. So I think I'll take Merry Bards. This is a card I haven't put in too many decks, but it seems fine. I mean, it's great with Gingerbrute. It's great with any of our Bitter Blossom Fairies. It's great with any of the rats we have. I mean, it seems like a totally fine card here. So let's take it, put it into the deck. And every single card we have is either black or red so far. Don't have a lot of removal right now. Would love to get a little bit more of that. Don't have any Candy Grapples. Haven't seen a Torch the Tower, Candy Grapple. The 3 mana removal spell in red. Here's Up the Beanstalk. Every single time I see this in the pack, I will tell you, every time I draft this deck, I never see an Up the Beanstalk. Every time I am not drafting this deck, I see very late Up the Beanstalks. What you gonna do about it? Let's go ahead and just take an Evolving Wilds. I probably won't play it in an aggressive deck like this, but we'll see. Okay, Feed the Cauldron, Rat Out, Flick a Coin, Red Cap Thief. Feed the Cauldron is removal, but it's not exactly the removal I'm looking for with this deck. I think Rat Out might be slightly better because it creates a rat. For us, specifically. I think Feed the Cauldron's a better card, but for this deck, I think Rat Out might be better. Ooh, we got the Hopeless Nightmare back. Still don't have a lot of bargain, but honestly, I mean, if we open a Candy Grapple in pack 3, there are some bargain cards we could end up with. We have a Grim Search and a Negotiator. But there's plenty of decent bargain cards in black that we can find in the third pack here. Scream Puff, Bruiser. I'm probably more likely to play Bruiser, but I still don't think I will. Don't think I'm playing 2 Witch's Marks, and I don't like Kindled Heroism. So we've got a decent deck already, and we still have a pack left to go here. So ideally looking for, like I mentioned, like Twisted Sewer Witches, Torch the Towers, Candy Grapples, Ratcatcher Trainee, you know, many of the cards like that. Alright, awesome. We got a Candy Grapple and a Trainee, but we need to take Grapple here. I would love to have a Trainee for this deck. 2 would be great. But we have to take our first copy of Candy Grapple. The last Hopeless Nightmare wield, I don't think this one does, but you never know. Trainee's probably the only other card I would play in this pack. We're going to go ahead and take the removal spell here. Now we've got another Hopeless Nightmare, another Voracious Vermin, an Edgewall pack. The Vermin does make a rat. The Hopeless Nightmare, we got another bargain card here. It pings them for 2. The other Vermin didn't wheel. We have a lot of 3s. I don't know how much of them we're playing. Probably most of them. Let's take Vermin. Maybe one of the other 2 Nightmares wheels. And then we can play one more. I don't know how many Nightmares we need to play. Oh my gosh, what a gift. What a gift. Song of Totentans. What a card. X and a red. Make X 1/1 rats. And creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. Gotta love it. Slotting that right into the deck. And now I'm feeling pretty good here. Alright, we've got a second Stab Wound. But I don't think I want a second Stab Wound. 1 is probably okay. A Ginger Brute. A Daredevil. And a 2-mana 2/1 with slight upside. I think I'll take Ginger Brute over Daredevil here. We're pretty aggressive. We have Witch's Mark and Merry Bards to put rolls on it. So we've got some options. Struck Out here. Impact Tremors, Bellowing Bruiser, Warehouse Tabby. None of this is for us. We've already got a bruiser in the sideboard anyway. Maybe this bruiser is actually kind of good in decks like this. I don't know. I can't imagine it is. Everything else here seems pretty good. Maybe we don't need the Grim Search because we have a Witch's Mark. Ooh. Another Negotiator? Yeah, don't mind if I do. That is a nice curve topper finisher here. There's Shatter, Merry Bards, Edgewall Pack, Flick a Coin, but I think Negotiator is what we want. This is going to be a difficult deck build. I think we want to be affecting the board more than we want to be card drawing. Definitely need one of the Witch's Marks to help against Mana Flood. Currently have 23. Would like to play 24 so we can play 16 lands, and I'm sure we will. We've got plenty of packs left. Wow. I guess I'm taking the end here. It's just a good removal spell. I mean, negotiators are great, but 3 of them at the top of the curve, 3 is a lot. But I can take the end, which is a great removal spell to fit in here. Another Witch's Mark. We already have one in the sideboard. But I'm not playing anything else here, so. I guess this is currently the deck as it stands. 16 lands. Well, a Nightmare wheeled. Did the other one wheel? Yes, it did. Wow, look at this. All black and red cards. I don't want a Grabby Giant. I don't want a Slinger. Yeah, I'll take a third Nightmare. I don't know if I'll play 3, but I'm not playing any of the other stuff. Daredevil could be playable as well. Now we've got some cuts to make. Probably cutting 1 Nightmare. I mean, the deck looks great. We probably don't even need Gnawing Crescendo. And then we'd have 1 more cut here. The cut might actually be Stab Wound, because what makes this card good is when you're not attacking them, you put it on like their 2/4 and it becomes an 0/2. But all they have to do is chump, and then it's gone. So it doesn't really do exactly what you want it to do. How much bargain do we have? We have a Candy Grapple. We have 2 Negotiators, and that's it for double Nightmare. We don't have to bargain this. If we start flooding, we can sacrifice these and pay 3 mana just to scry. So we don't have to bargain this. But everything else seems good. 15 creatures. This is kind of a creature. These are creatures basically. Removal, removal, Mana Flood, removal, card draw, and pump, and discard, and more damage to the face. All right, I have high hopes for this deck. This, I feel like, is what an aggro deck is supposed to be. Can we be lucky enough to go first? Can we be lucky enough to draw our cards in the right order? You're going to find out with me. See you in game 1. All right, here we are in the first game with a hand that needs a swamp badly, and if it gets one, it's great. If it doesn't, We have plenty of red cards we could draw, so the worst draws in our deck are literal mountains. Anything else, or other black cards, I guess. We've got Gingerbread on 1. We've got Ride the Rails. We've got Minecart Daredevil on 3, even if we find only a mountain. I think I'm keeping it and then really regretting it later. But we're just going to try this one on for size. As we get into this first match, if you are new here and not yet subscribed, go ahead and check out that subscribe button underneath here. If you're still watching this video, clearly you're enjoying something. We do tons of drafts here. This is, as you saw, what is this, our 14th draft, not including live streams, and we have our access to early access here at Daily Draft, so you get set review content coming up for Caverns of Ixalan and all sorts of stuff as well. So let's do this. Sorry, Hi-Fi Negotiator, you are a little far away from being cast, so we're going to go ahead and ditch you and be glad that we did. We also have a Patreon here. If you think I deserve to be rewarded for the content that I make, you can go ahead and support me over on Patreon. I've got tiers that are as cheap as $1 US per month, and the most expensive tier I have is just $5 US per month, and that's it. So I pride myself in my Patreon being very affordable. So you go ahead and check that out as well. Yeah, I guess I'll trade. Was going to trade the combat trick, but they chose not to. So let's do this here. I know this just trades off for their 2/2, but it's more pressure. And we are mana screwed, so we gotta do something. Genealogist. Make it a 3/3 with Ward 1. Okay. I mean, if they attack, I'll block, because I'm planning on attacking back, and I'd rather trade this for their 3/3 than for their 2/3. So I would just block. I don't have any combat tricks in hand or anything. Swamp would be outstanding. We could go Vermin and activate Gingerbrute here. Alright, they either forgot it's their turn, or we're glitching, or they were thinking really hard there. Looks like they were thinking really hard. There we go. So we play Vermin, and then we activate Gingerbrute here. Play an additional land. Okay, do you have a 3-drop to follow it up? You do. Alright. Not a bad draw. So we do this. Go to combat, get in there with this one. Play Monstrosity. End the turn. They're at 11 still, which isn't great. Yeah. It's a good card. Gets to bite probably our Gingerbrute here. Rhyme for reindeer. Sure. Yep. Let's start here. Got a Yenna out of their hand. Let's go... here. And then attack. Because we can pump this 3 times. So I'll trade this for anything they'll let us trade it for here. Get a counter on this. They're at 8. Those blocks are annoying. So I can trade Vermin for Worm. And keep Monstrosity by bargaining Candy Grapple away, and then they just have a Lookout and I have a Monstrosity and a Song of Totentans. That seems good to me. Well, these are also good. I mean, the song just like closes this game out at some point. So let's do this. The Merry Bards actually isn't... I should have done that in the reverse order for sure. So I can give this double strike next turn, because the Merry Bards putting a young hero on this doesn't do much. They still just trade. So definitely should have put the double strike on top. That was quite a draw. Yeah, I can't say they had a better draw in their deck than that. They scryed 2 to the bottom and then found a Fawnsbane Troll. Sure. Toadstool Admirer. I mean, I'm basically, if I attack here and then use Two-Headed Hunter on it, I'm basically betting that they don't have removal. Not super mana efficient, but I mean... Ah, wonderful, wonderful. Another great draw. Another outstanding draw. I had to... I mean, using Song earlier had to be the correct answer, right? Like... I just attack them and hit them for... plenty. They're choosing... They got one on top. I could make 5 rats right now, hit them down to 3. They would eat one of them. No, hit them down to 4. Then I would have 4 rats. And then they would have 3 blockers next turn. Yeah, I just don't think the rats do it right now. If I just did that, the next turn I play this thing and it doesn't do anything. Maybe I can attack with it. If they choose to fight this with their Fawnsbane Troll, they both die. So... I mean, they get to draw another card because the Fawnsbane Troll enters with an aura on it. That has lifelink. Draw another card. Already played a land, still have priority. Could be the Fawnsbane Troll here. What happens if we play Gingerbrute and then make 4 rats? Swing in with everything. They block Troll and something else on this. If we make 5 rats attack everything, they eat all the rats, take all of this, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 exactly kill us on the backswing, so that doesn't do it. I guess this means we die to removal if I attack with this. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so if I attack with this, they just take it, we die to removal here. I prefer to not die to removal. There's got to be a way I should have won this game long ago. I still have no idea why this exiles. It doesn't make any sense to me. Black and green don't get that effect. Or at least shouldn't get that effect. So what if they eat, chump? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're not technically dead on board. If they just eat 2 rats and then chump. Well, they can't chump this. They would have to trade. Alright. Let's get in. See if Totentans can do it or not. They go to 2. We have 6 rats. They have 6 power and toughness. That is a card draw. Let's see if what they find. Alright, looks like we got it. Jeez. There's got to be a way I could have won that earlier, but maybe I should just be more aggressive in using Song of Totentans whenever there's an opening to get more points of damage in. Maybe I'll play that a little bit differently going forward. Alright, we've got a pretty good hand here. We've got Rat Out and Spear Guard with Mantle backup. So they're going to go Spear Guard on 1, potentially Mantle it up on turn 2, and then Rat Out something. If we need to. Now I'm less likely to Mantle it up, obviously. Belligerent of the Ball. It's a good one. Let's just play Vermin here. Witch's Mark, you have a 4/4. You have a 7/4. Goodness gracious, that happened quickly. So they had priority on when they had just a swamp and a crystal grotto, which tells me either Rat Out or Candy Grapple. I could Merry Bards, not pay the 1 and then block and Rat Out, but then if they Rat Out my Bards, then obviously that makes things pretty bad too. I could Vermin, but then I have to triple block. Let's Merry Bards and Rat Out, I think. I can't afford to just continually take 6 or 7 damage. I have to try to block that thing. I mean, I guess if they celebrate, I can't block it, which isn't great, and they're probably going to celebrate. Gosh, these cards are busted. Put it on itself. Hold up, torch the tower. That is celebration. I mean, it could be torch the tower, but I mean, I gotta try. In fact, it very highly likely is torch the tower here. But let's do damage first. And then try to rat out. What is it for one red that you could have? Okay, good. Okay. You make me worried if you had priority in things. Yeah, they still have priority here. With one red. What if we just attack with everything? They eat a rat, they take 5? That has to be good. I'm willing to trade that. Our Voracious Vermin gets bigger. They eat our Spear Guard, we get a rat anyway. I didn't realize they were somehow already at 12. They're now at 7. We have a big board. Creatures get bigger. Land lets us drain them for 3, which might just be lethal. I still just don't know what they have for 1 red mana that they chose not to use during that combat scenario there. So it just has 6 counters now? That should be okay. As long as it doesn't have double strike. Come on. So they block here, they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Managed to get it. Didn't need the land. Ginger Brew wasn't even necessary. We technically had lethal on board, but they didn't know we had the Dragon Mantle. Okay, there we go. Can I interest you in yet another potential mana screw with a very similar hand that we kept in the first one? Kept it last time and it worked out, I guess, right? So I'm going to lead on Spear Guard. Ginger Brute can attack by itself, as long as they don't play a haste creature. And this may not be able to get in again, so... There we go. We actually found the black. Thank you, deck. I will acknowledge that you did cooperate this time. For all the times you haven't, you did this time. Thank you. Alright, we're getting that aggro start here. Sprite, keeping something tapped. Sure. Don't really want to trade Monstrosity for that anymore. So let's do this and this. Celebration here. Hit for 4, leave the Ginger Brute back. So the way I was able to do that is that the Battle Mouse makes your second spell each turn cost 1 less to cast. This cost 3, went back down to 2, and then that was our second spell, so we were able to celebrate and give a creature +1/+1 until end of turn. And now we're probably just swinging out till the end of the game, if I had to guess. Down goes Daredevil. And what's the follow-up? Alchemist. Makes things slightly more annoying. So either trade here lets us be able to bargain with the negotiator. Probably should have just attacked with the Monstrosity in that case, but still have a rat out of the deal here. They're at 7. We have a flyer. We have a Ginger Brute. We're out of gas, though, so that's not great. Let's see if they can deal with the negotiator. Looking in their yard to cast the Horseman. They can cast Horseman and then Sprite and then kick it and tap this down. That would be pretty good. That's what I think they're going to do here. Fell Horseman, I think, is card. There it is. And then tap down Negotiator. We'll hit with Ginger Brute next turn. Maybe we draw Song or something. I keep making these all-out attacks that end up not being great based on their blocks, but we need to try to pressure their life total. I mean, I probably shouldn't have attacked with the rat, but I could have pre-combat rat out over there, but that wouldn't have opened up any attacks. They would have just ate our Battle Mouse at that point with the Alchemist, so I wouldn't have attacked with anything. I was hoping they would just block with the Alchemist there. That's pretty good. Pay 1, put it here. Pay this. Celebrate here. Attack here and here. They have to chump here. This is taking 3. They would eat the mouse and take 1, so I think I'll just do this. Now they're dead on board to Ginger Brute. And to Negotiator. There we go. When in doubt, turn your creature sideways. It'll probably work out in the end. Maybe. Possibly. Sometimes. Alright, we are on the draw this time. We've got Spiteful Hexmage, and something interesting we can do is play Rat out to just get a 1/1 Rat. You don't even have to have a target for it. And then you play the Hexmage, making your Rat cursed. It's probably not worth it, but you never know. I don't think I'll do that. Let's do this and land a Dragon Mantle here. Cycles itself, gets us closer to potentially bargaining away this cursed roll with the Negotiator. We are on the draw here. That has not been great. Here comes Candy Apple on Totentons. Sugar Rush for 10. Can I afford to take 10 here? Sure? It feels so bad. Okay, this proves they don't have combat tricks, so that's good. My turn. They don't have much going on here, so let's bargain probably the cursed roll. Then we can trade. We both get a rat. Six mana. Totentons down. Yeah, bargain, cut in, and a roll. Okay. We still have Negotiator here. That's kind of scary. Why would they attack into this? Clearly Candy Grapple or something? The second spell you cast costs 2 less. So we do this, or 1 less. So we do this one. They didn't have anything. Oh, they could have given it Death Touch. I see, I see. Yeah, that's pretty good. You gonna play around rat out? You probably should. Okay. Do I trade Negotiator for this stupid rat now? I mean, I can't take damage from it for that long. We're at 7? Never mind. Now I trade Vermin for the rat. For sure. Yeah. Alright, I guess we gotta hope they don't have a way to deal 2 extra damage to us. Somehow. And then we'll win next turn. Or do I hold back Battle Mouse to chump here? So we would die to Hopeless Nightmare. We would die to High-Fae Negotiator. There's several things we would die to. If I held this back and chumped, we don't die to Hopeless Nightmare. We don't die to High-Fae Negotiator. And then they're still taking 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 down to 5. And we still have a ton of attackers. So I'm going to protect myself here and not attack with Battle Mouse. Plan to chump Totentons. Alright. We played around things and it worked out, but I have attacked into lethal so many times and been burned, so I'm just going to hold things back there when we don't need to. Oh, hello there, turn 2 Bitterblossom. I forgot you were in the deck. Well, that means we're going to keep this hand and hopefully survive. Survive our own Bitterblossom. We don't have a red yet, but we have a turn 2 Bitterblossom, so I don't see how this could go wrong. Again, thank you, deck. We did draw the land. We drew the red. Hopeful Vigil. Okay. Just going to play Totentons here, not attack with Ginger Brute. Curse killing Totentons. Yeah, that's pretty good. It also has a Vigilance, so good for you. Alright, let's push that damage. Come on, Bitterblossom. That's annoying. Does give lifelink too, which is, again, annoying. Alright, they go to 8. See if they can gain some more life here. Grasp of Fate getting rid of Bitterblossom. Good for you. Good for you. And a 1-drop to celebrate. Nice. Good for you. Sure. Okay. Still have a lot of creatures here. We have some reach. If we draw a land, we can ping them for 3 more. That is some food. They might need that. They're gaining a ton of life, which is annoying. Double top. Take 4, go to 9, you go to 11. There's a land. That should probably do it, I would think. They do have the ability to gain a good bit of life this turn. All they have to do is play Vigil, attack, gain 4, eat the food, gain 3, gain 7, go up to 9. Which means we don't have lethal right now. We would attack back for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 currently. So yeah, they do have a way to get out of this. So they have kind of next turn to kill us if they don't want to die. There's the Vigil. There's the Celebration. There's the attack. Here comes the food eating. Awkward, we only have 1 mountain and 4 swamps here, but... that might actually be lethal now. Xaxes. Dragon Mantle with 1 mountain for Xaxes, because we top decked 1 more. Yeah, and they dealt with the Bitter Blossom. Alright. Alright, we get to go second this time, unfortunately. The hand seems totally keepable, though. Where is the rat out when you need it? And of course they had a 1-drop to trade with our stupid Ginger Brute. I'll just offer the trade. Okay, they didn't even take it. Sure. Play an additional land. And attack, okay. Well, let's get the other Ginger Brute down, and while they're tapped out, we'll just Dragon Mantle, draw our card. Who wins this race? I don't know, it depends on how quick they can ramp here. No plays at all. Well, I don't like that. Let's start here. I don't think I want to burn my mana just trying to attack here. I'd rather progress the board. So let's just play Monstrosity. I don't think I'm willing to trade, also because they could just activate this thing. And that might be all they have, is just an activation on Toadstool Admirer. Let's see. Assassin. Okay. Where is the rat out? Here comes Beanstalk Worm. Assassin attacks. Okay. Merry Bards. Pay the 1. Put it on Monstrosity and attack. Okay, they'll trade. Just have to outrace this 3-1 flyer here. Again, Rat Out is an incredibly great draw. So is Hyphae Negotiator. They have a Curse of the Werefox here. Well, I said Hyphae Negotiator was a good draw, but for me, not for them. Okay, well, I drew it, but a little late. Alright, so a land would be great, obviously. That would let us cast Negotiator here. They're going all aggro. They technically have lethal next turn, but yeah, if we don't draw a land, we're going to have to start eating some food, which is going to feel pretty bad. Down goes Gingerbrute. Yeah, that's just taunting us there. So we have to draw a land? Seven, 8, 9. So we have to block here. Eat the food. Go to 2. Have another one? Looks like they're bargaining something. Oh, man. Sometimes you're unlucky. Alright, on the draw again. Missing red again. But look, turn 2 Bitter Blossom. I don't see how you can turn that down. So we will not. In turn 3, if we find a red in the next 2 draw steps, we play Battle Mouse and then Monstrosity on turn 3, so... Ooh, down goes Hamlet Glutton. And even if we don't draw red, we play another Monstrosity and another Hopeless Nightmare. So, not another Monstrosity, but we play one. Storm-Killed Prowler, sure. They're over it. They're just, oh, they're like, I'm tired of this. Bitter Blossom on 2, Double Nightmare, no thank you. Alright, well, can you sculpt a better hand? I mean, Spear Guard 1, Bitter Blossom 2, Nightmare into... Yeah, let's do it. I don't need Double Negotiator in my opening hand. That is unfortunate that we drew the other one, but it'll be great once we can cast it, if we get there. Gotta have our hand cooperate at this point. I think I'm going to save the Spear Guard back to block this Ruiner and chump it once this thing gets double strike. Oop, they missed a land. We'll just do this next turn. We'll do this next turn, put a young hero on the ferry, and start getting to town. These tokens are something else. Getting rid of Cut In. They were mana screwed, did not have a third land last turn. Do they have it now? No, they have another Ruiner though. Not at all what we needed. Fortunately, Mountain's probably the worst draw on the deck. Okay, they're unscrewed. Oof. Card is great. No, I think I'd rather this one die. Okay, can we outrace our own Bitter Blossom? Go to 7. We'll scry end of turn, and then if we find a swamp, that should probably do it. They're thinking about how they can try to survive here. Red Cap Thief, make a treasure. Okay. And they do still have priority. So currently, well, if we chump here and we scry into a swamp, we win. Because this will hit for 4, and then we will drain for 3. So I'm willing to just preserve my life total ever so slightly. So let's keep that swamp. Make a fairy. Go here, attack here. Hit for 4. Bargain, get rid of the rat, drain for 3. And get a 7-1 with a sweet deck here. That was really, really good. We had one unfortunate loss. Not sure I've had a 7-0 yet this form. I might have had a 7-0. I'm not sure. Had plenty of 7-1s, but this deck had just about everything you wanted. WOE won 2 games straight up, maybe even 3. Song of Totentans won a game straight up. Double Negotiator, great. Double Nightmare. Battle Mouse did some work. Vermins were fine. I mean, never even had to cast the end. Actually, we did once, but yeah, deck was just great. You can't really ask for a better red-black deck in this format. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end of one today. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out Daily Draft Patreon. Go ahead and reward me for the great content that I'm providing you with. If you think it's great content, thanks for hanging around to the end of today's video, and I'll see you next time for your Daily Draft.